Today, we're going to unpack the story of one of the most consequential figures in all of world history. I mean, this is a man whose life has a twist so dramatic, it seriously feels like it's straight out of a movie. This is the incredible transformation of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Now, to really get a sense of his impact, you just have to look at the world today. Islam is the fastest growing religion on the planet, with nearly 2 billion followers. And the foundations of that global community, well, a huge part of them were laid during a really pivotal early era by the man who would become its chief architect, Umar. And when I say his work was monumental, I mean it. In just a few short years, his leadership forged an empire that was actually larger than Alexander the Great's. And get this, he did it in a fraction of the time, which of course brings up the big question: how? And that right there is the core puzzle of his life. Because before he was Islam's champion, Umar was one of its most ferocious opponents. So how does someone like that not just change their mind, but become the very force that propels the faith he once tried to destroy onto the world stage? It's an amazing question. To answer that, we've got to go back to the beginning, back to the city of Mecca. Now, this place was a bustling center of trade and religion, for sure, but it was also this complex web of power, politics, and fierce tribal loyalties. And understanding this world, that is the key to understanding the man Umar was before everything changed. So in Mecca, power was pretty clearly divided. The main tribe, the Quraysh, was split into these super powerful clans. You had the Banu Hashim, that was the Prophet's clan, and they held the religious authority. Then you had the Banu Umayyah, who controlled the economy, and finally the Banu Makhzum. They were the military strategists. And Umar, he didn't belong to any of them. He was kind of an outsider, which meant he had to earn every bit of his influence, not just inherit it. And this duality is so key to who he was. On one hand, his father's clan, the Banu Adi, they were diplomats, negotiators, really skilled with words. But on the other hand, his mother's clan was the Banu Makhzum, the warriors. So right from birth, Umar kind of embodied both sides of that coin, the sharp mind of a diplomat and the fierce spirit of a fighter. As a young man, Umar was just a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he was physically imposing. Sources say he was so tall that when he walked through a crowd, it looked like he was on horseback. He was one of Mecca's best wrestlers, a respected diplomat for the Quraysh, and a successful trader. He was powerful, he was influential, and he was a pillar of the old Meccan establishment. And, well, that meant he was staunchly, vehemently opposed to this new message of Islam. For years, Umar and his uncle, Abu Jahl, were some of the primary opponents of the early Muslims. But then came a single day. A single chain of events so intense and dramatic that it wouldn't just change his life, it would literally alter the course of history forever. Okay, so here's what happens. Totally fed up with Islam's growing influence, Umar makes a shocking decision. He grabs his sword and sets off to kill the Prophet Muhammad. But on the way, he's intercepted. A friend stops him and reveals a crazy secret. Umar's own sister has converted. Well, he's enraged. He storms over to her house and finds her reading the Quran. He attacks her husband, and when she tries to intervene, he strikes her. He draws blood. And that one moment, seeing his sister's blood shed by his own hand, it just stops him cold. Remorse completely washes over him. He asks to see what she was reading. And as he reads the words of the Quran, everything inside him changes. He goes directly to the Prophet, not to kill him, but to declare his faith. Look, when a man of Umar's stature makes a move, it is not a quiet affair. The impact of his conversion was immediate, it was public, and it was absolutely revolutionary for that small persecuted Muslim community. His decision to join them, it was like a shield being raised around the entire faith. And get this, with Umar's conversion, the total number of Muslims in Mecca reached exactly 50 people. That's it, 40 men and 10 women. It was a tiny group. But with Umar now on their side, the entire power equation in the city had just been completely rewritten. The impact was just instant. Think about it, before Umar, Muslims had to practice their faith in secret. They were this small, vulnerable group. After Umar joined them, for the very first time, they had a protector so powerful that they could pray openly right at the Kaaba, the religious heart of Mecca. With one man's decision, Islam stepped out of the shadows and into the light. And Umar didn't just join, he immediately became a leader. The first thing he did, he went straight to his greatest enemy, Abu Jahl, and told him right to his face that he was now a Muslim. he became a close advisor to the Prophet, known for his sharp, clear judgment, which earned him the title Al-Faruq, the one who distinguishes between right and wrong. It was actually his idea to compile the Quran into a single book, to preserve it. And later, after the Prophet's death, it was his decisive action that united the entire community behind the first Caliph, Abu Bakr. So, after serving as the loyal right-hand man to Abu Bakr, the time came for Omar himself to step into that primary leadership role. His appointment as the second caliph would mark the moment the Islamic community transitioned from a regional power into a global empire. So when the first caliph, Abu Bakr, was on his deathbed, he had this critical decision to make. Who would lead next? He chose Omar, but a lot of people were worried. They thought he was too strict, too harsh. But Abu Bakr saw it differently. He argued that Omar's seriousness was exactly what the community needed. And in a move that completely defied tradition, he appointed Omar not based on family ties or lineage, but purely on merit. It was a choice that would shape the future for centuries to come. And maybe nothing captures this incredible journey better than Umar's own words. Later in his life, as the leader of this vast empire, he returned to a field where he used to work as a boy. He said that there was a time he used to herd camels right there for his father, who would beat him for the smallest mistake. And now, he stood in that very same spot as the most powerful man in the known world, with no one standing between him and God. A persecutor turned protector, a shepherd boy turned emperor, whose transformation truly and completely changed the world.